Everybody's supposed to prepare the PowerPoint. Otherwise, I don't have to do it.
Okay, come on, brother.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for giving homework. I'm sure that will be some kind of reward that I'm expecting today. And but anyway, I just prepare. But at the same time, I just prepare just briefly, so which means I have just photos for you to enjoy. First of all, let me see what time I'm going to start. Okay. Yeah, first of all, I thank you very much for inviting me as one of the panelists today. And my name is Nakagaki, or Kenjitsu Nakagaki. A lot of people still know I'm president of Buddhist Council, but I'm not president of Buddhist Council of New York. I just stepped down from the last year because of the, well, I served altogether like 4 terms, so that's too long. so anyway, and then plus I wanted to start my new organization. So that's why, well, maybe I should step down from many things. I used to be the vice chair for the Interfaith Center too, but also there was another thing that since I'm going to start something, that I wanted to just gradually, set aside some of the things and try to focus on what I can do for myself and for the society and things that I feel like it's important. Of course, my background itself is Buddhist, as you see, the Buddhist background. I was born and raised in Japan and came to the United States in 1985, so it's already 30-some years past. So which means I feel like I live, the half century, so it's great to begin something for myself. But anyhow, so basically what I've been trying to ask to cover is where the Buddhism stands, and in terms of this nonviolence. And so I just wanted to begin with quoting a couple, scriptures. So the first, maybe most famous one for the Buddhism would be maybe the Dhammapada, because this has been one of the ancient texts, and then it's the first chapter. After, of course, the Buddhism start with with your mind, without mind we make the world, and all those statements. So the mind is very, very important, the essential. Then what's next it comes is the part of the this particular quotes of nonviolence. And so those two somehow essential for Buddhist practice. So the Dhammapada, well, translation is different, but anyway. He revived me, he struck me, he defeated me, he robbed me. In those who do not gird themselves up with this, hatred is quelled. In this world, hatred never yet has dispelled hatred. It is the it is the absence of hatred that lead to peace. This law is ancient and will last forever. So, so this has been one of the most important part of the Buddhist practice, and also essential part. But then there are many connected, quotes. So I just wanted to share a couple of them. So this is from another famous one, probably because of the Golden Rule. So there is nothing more lovable than myself to all directions. In the same way, for other people, they themselves are most lovable. Therefore, treat not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful. Very simple, but yet it's very important, because I'm very important and lovable, so I can love myself, but nobody else can. But in the same way, you can apply to the other people. So this is also one of the, I guess, simple but yet important wisdom of Buddhism. And then the other, this is also another important passage probably. That's from the another Dhammapada, chapter 10. all beings fear violence, all fear death. If you take yourself as the measure, do not kill and do not let others kill. All beings fear violence, all love life. If you take yourself as the measure, do not kill and do not let others kill. That probably is good enough. I like the 3. So I'm Buddhist tend to have everything is 3 too. So oh, seriously, with the Dharma Sangha, you know, like 3 treasures, and then the action. When we talk about action, we have 3 actions: one for mind, one for mouth, and then one for physical. So just so, and then every time Buddhists ask some question, 3 times, but no 4 times or 5th time. No, this is serious. I mean, even like a Buddha's life, when he protested one time in between those 2 opposite villages, they are fighting each other. He did 3 times. And then after 3 times, if you start doing the same thing, it just doesn't mean anything. So 3 times is one of the maximum. Actually, the Sakya lineage, Sakya clan was actually what do you call it? Sort of like murdered later. But then before Buddha protested 3 times, but then even his own clan, he just do 3 times. So if you wanted me to do something, you have to at least ask 3 times. But if I don't,
okay, I'll remember to email you 3 times.
Yeah, but then the 3 times is balanced well too. Right? If you have 3 legs. I mean, we only have 2 legs for humans, but somehow, but we do have some there. We don't use it, but anyway, 3 legs, very, very steady. So the Buddhism has 3 sutras. Each school of Buddhism has 3 sutras that they have to based upon, 3 teachings or 3 Bibles in a way to based upon. So everything is sort of 3. Okay, but anyhow. Yeah, we divide Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana 3. Sorry, not too much 3. So at least you have that in your mind today. I don't know about the 3 things in a piece, but I didn't think about that one. Let me show you some of the photos. Since I wanted to show this first, but a couple of things that stands for. Oh, yeah, that's right. I try to hit my computer instead of hitting this one. Sorry. Yeah. So, when we say Buddhist, I mean, here in the United States, when you say Buddhism, like one Buddhist, no other Buddhism, but there are many, many Buddhism that you can see. There are to the light. What is the red one? This one? Oh, this one. So this is me. I mean, this is a Japanese tradition, and these Cambodian traditions, Sri Lankan traditions, and these are Chinese, a big body there, American in a way, and
Jewish.
Like the Henry.
What does that mean? Yeah.
What is it? What? I mean, well, thank you. I know I invited him to come and join us. But that was the 30th anniversary of the Buddhist Council. And loving kindness, compassion, and peace. So those are 3 phrases you may realize. But so there are Japanese tend to be more black robe, and then there are some Korean people who should be somewhere in the background maybe. But so there are many different types of Buddhism, and then each one has a different country, and then developed in a different country for a long time. So each tradition has a sort of uniquely their own Buddhist. Like myself, is more Japanese Buddhist than like other tradition of Buddhism. So I want you to know. So what presentation tend to have a lot of Japanese influence from that sense, whether you realize or not. And so some of the things. Since yesterday, we did have a Vesak at the United Nations. This is 2 years ago, but so I thought I just mentioned it. But I don't know how many of people think UN represent everybody, but actually we do have a little problem for doing this at the UN for Vesak. That's simply because like this time did I turn off? Oh, I turned off. Sorry. I try to push the light off. Off. This one. So this is yeah. So we do like my Japanese, Korean, Chinese and Korea. So three of us. This is Mahayana part of the chanting. But even here, actually, we wanted to have somebody from Tibet, or we wanted to have somebody from Taiwan. No. Do you know why, right? They're not part of the UN. So that's why they cannot represent, they can't do anything. And so it's, in a way, one of the main Buddhist countries are not part of the UN part. So, but at least it's great that we're able to gather together. So they can be sitting here, but you cannot lead some of the things like this too, because of the national things. So that's some kind of unfortunate to have it, but hopefully later they will change somehow. But so then at the same time, this is a commercial. We have Vesak coming up, Buddha's birthday in a Buddhist council. We'll do in June 2nd. If you have time, will please join us. That will be in a flashing first time for this year. So we'll see how it goes. But this one was a couple years in the Manhattan. Anyway, so for the Buddhist stands for many different things, but this is of course, Unit Church Center. One thing that I feel like I wanted to focus something for the life too. So, well, maybe for your reference, I'm just focusing on three things right now. I do also apply to my thing, but I can do two for three things. One is actually Peacebuilding. So the organization that I studied is called HEIWA, which is a Japanese term, peace and reconciliation. So I translate like so HEIWA, Peace and Reconciliation Foundation of New York. I just started last month, so I don't have nothing. No, 2 months ago. Sorry. Yeah, because it's May already. So that was a March that I just started. March was my birthday. That's why. And it's not that's why, but it just happened to be that way. One of the parts of that, this is also, you know that this symbol, right? Oh, again, sorry. I just press the wrong button every time. You know this symbol, you know this symbol, you know this symbol, this one. Do you know what this one is? No. Yeah, of course. This is a Nagasaki city, from Nagasaki. And actually, I somehow, because I've been doing this peace ceremony for 25 years, last 25 years every year. And somehow when they have a 70th anniversary of Hiroshima Nagasaki memorial, Nagasaki City sort of recognized me as a peace correspondent, Nagasaki peace correspondent. So that's why we just do some kind of event sponsored by Nagasaki at the United Nations. Even at that time, we did have a little problem for the United Nations. So because of some of the speakers, they are from Turkey, and then some of the persons who are supposed to do, the government called to the government, meaning Turkish government called to Japanese government, and I can't do this and that. So there's a lot of, every time I do something, try to do in the UN, I do have a problem. So anyway, I'm one of the persons I don't trust much of the UN because of that. So I'm focusing on the Hiroshima HEIWA building in general. So that's the first one thing. And second thing, so related to that, this is like a Hiroshima, Nagasaki, especially atomic bomb part, has been created here, Manhattan Project, but somehow even religious community, we don't do much. And then I feel like August is not fair too, because the Hiroshima Nagasaki happened in August 6 in Japan and August 9. So which is, if nobody is here. So I cannot break because of that particular time, but I wish I could do something more for the, even like religious leaders gather and to work for just the peace. And then nowadays people start changing their schedule the summer schedule. Before was much harder. These days, at least the people do not travel much in the summertime, and so maybe if you are in a city, just try to take the vacation from the second week of August, and then so first week of August, keep that date open, and so we will do some walk hopefully this year. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's right. Sorry. So Hiroshima. Okay, 2 more minutes. I thought I didn't talk that much. But anyway, I'll show you some of the photos that I have too. And this is actually a regular Hiroshima Nagasaki ceremony. So there's a parts of the Hiroshima, this is the Nagasaki part, and this represents Hiroshima. And then also 2 years ago, I was recognized also Hiroshima Peace Ambassador from the Hiroshima city. So I mean, those things lead me to do something. I wanted to focus more for the HEIWA parts. And so these are interface. And so we have a little walk anyway, but we don't have many religious leaders. Yeah, so that's why I hope have more religious leaders or religious practitioners come to join us. But sorry, I guess, and then this, you can. But also as far as the peace part, this is start from the 9/11 time, but because of this is part of the Buddhist response. I just wanted to have a little more peaceful way of thinking of 9/11 events used to be, and so that's why I started the floating lantern ceremony at the Hudson River. I did 10 years, and then now I changed to the location. And the International Day of Peace we will do in front of the UN. I mean, cross the river from the UN. And so those lanterns, they write the peace, message and so forth. And then we just float the lantern. So we just carry the lanterns, and the other side, that's the New York City background, right? And yeah, so that's how this goes. And in a way, it is a way to, before, the one of the time that, long ago, but 9/11 time is always many parts of the events more, Judeo-Christian oriented. So I thought maybe I should start my own way of how can the Buddhists to be able to do the things like peace events. Then this is the way that it's going to be. And but then of course I will include interfaith parts of it because that's very important. One of the principles that I try to say and I forgot to tell you that 1 more minute, I guess. So the first is the Buddhist idea. Why the Buddhism thinking of the peace is simply because of how we look at the people. So basically we look at the all the existence of the human or actually all sentient beings. Actually not a side of the justice. We don't never judge with the evil or good. That's not the point that Buddhism always sees. The point is the preciousness of life itself. Each life is how important each life. That's the only awareness. So that's why it doesn't really matter what kind of religion you are, or what kind of background you have. Because everybody was born as a baby. So that's the moment that maybe you can think of. So there's no title, nothing, no name even, but yet those life has a lot of precious meaning. And so therefore we don't, we treated others or myself as one of the most important part of it. So in order for them to, for us to, that's the part of that I feel like most important things to not distinguish like equality means not equal to see all beings. Regardless of likes and dislikes, good and bad. And so that's the essential part. And then one thing I realized after you asked me this question, how the Buddhism do the work of this, I realized, historically speaking, Buddhism always go to the top. They transform instead of people. Not always. Of course there are people's parts as well. But it seems like a lot of time, like King Ashoka, I thought you were gonna mention it, but even like that Prince Shotoku in Japan is the emperor position. So that's the one that feel like important to be transformed. And so we could approach to, Mr. Trump. Make it to him a Buddhist, maybe. Oh, I don't know. Or maybe the interfaith leader should meet him at least. Thank you. Thank you so much.